Hi guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kyra, and here on this channel, we love our makeup, and we especially love the makeup we already own. But we're not here for Instagram fame or TikTok fortune, though I do both of those as well. We're here for real makeup, for real life and real people like us. Today's video I'm very excited to do. It is a bite-sized reviews on the products that were purchased or came into my collection in February. And we do have two rollovers from January that I was not prepared to review in the last bite-sized reviews. You guys know my opinions are always my own, no matter where the makeup comes from, as well as I will not review the makeup for you until I am ready and able to give you my complete thoughts. So with all that said, let's get into it. So the two rollovers from January are the Ulta Beauty Bouncy Eyeshadow in Italian Ice and the e.l.f. Camo CC Powder Foundation. Starting with the Ulta Bouncy Eyeshadow in Italian Ice, I'm going to be very careful holding this up. When I showed this in my top 5 palettes for spring video, I had two bonus single shadows. This was one of them, and it fell out. It fell out of the packaging. So I will say the packaging leaves quite a bit to be desired, but the color itself is really beautiful. It's sort of like a rosy beige with a silver pinpoint glitters in it. This was a recommendation from Amanda Z, and while I typically love her recommendations, this one just didn't do it for me, if I'm being honest. It is beautiful. I love the tone or the color, but I just feel like my Super Shock shadows that I own do a little bit more for me, as well as now every time I open this thing, I'm going to be afraid of it falling out, and it's definitely not travel friendly or ready, but it is a pretty color. And if those things don't bother you, then maybe maybe you would like it. And then the e.l.f. Camo Powder Foundation, I picked mine up in the shade Light 210N, and it looks like this. It definitely looks a little bit more deep and even a little bit yellow in the pan. You can see here in a swatch, but it does work for me. I have not worn it and probably will not wear it using the little puff applicator thing here. And I also don't really wear it at the full opacity, so I should start by saying that right off the bat. I do know Andrea Mattiliano does wear this as her foundation and really enjoys it, and she has a couple of little tips and tricks about how she applies it, so I would recommend you check her out for that. For me, I like this for setting my makeup and adding a little bit of coverage where needed with certain lighter coverage foundations. I will say there's some major work going on in the little cul-de-sac where we live today, so if you hear any background noise, I apologize, but that's what it is. So I do enjoy this. It's very soft, and I think it does help to keep my makeup on, and it is a good powder for how I use it as a setting powder. And I do like now having one that has a bit more coverage than most of my other powders. A lot of my powders are translucent, and so they have no coverage at all, which I love. But every once in a while, I need a little extra coverage, and this one does the trick. I do recommend it, but like I said, I can't really give you my full thoughts in terms of wearing it as a foundation, because that's not how I intended to use it. Right. Next, I had gotten a little sample of the new foundation from NARS. That is the Light Reflecting Foundation. I always use the shade Fiji from NARS, and it typically is a pretty good shade match for me. This I did not like. For me and my oily skin, this really just sat on top of the skin and it looked downright greasy by 4 hours into the day, and by the evening this was far, far, far more greasy or oily looking than any of my other foundations that I use. So this is just not a good match in terms of my skin type for me. I do typically like NARS foundations, but this is a pass for me. I mean, they're gonna pass it on to someone else or just let it go. There is one product that I'm not ready to review this month, and that is the Huda Beauty Naughty Nude palette. So I do have that down as something that I want to pull into my bi-weekly Shop My Stash on Instagram and, you know, get some good use out of it and then give you my review next month. So just wanted to let you know on that one. Next, I picked up another Charlotte Tilbury Hot Lips 2 lipstick. It is called JK Magic. I absolutely love the packaging with the stars and the black, and I just love this. This is a refillable component, so if you buy any of her other Hot Lips lipsticks, you can, you know, take them in and out. This is a beautiful, pretty neutral nude. Well, maybe not neutral. Well, maybe. I don't know. I feel like this is a pretty neutral nude, and I was afraid it might be a little too light for me, but clearly it is not. This is a beautiful lipstick. It's a cream formula. It's not like her matte formula at all. This is creamy, conditioning, all of the things, and I absolutely love it. I highly recommend these, and like I said, once you have one of these, you can just buy the refills and switch them in and out if you like. So love it. Next, we have a couple of mascaras. The first one is the Sephora Big by Definition mascara. It is said to be volumizing and lash multiplying. It is the mascara that I have on today, and I think my lashes look pretty darn good and very, very long, which I love. I originally started out with a sample of this, and I used the sample all up, and I did purchase the full size because I really enjoy this. And being from the Sephora collection, it's like $12, which is pretty much on par with a lot of drugstore mascaras these days. So I really, really love this one. It has a very standard sort of Christmas tree shaped wand, natural bristles. It is a bit of a wet mascara, especially upon first opening it, but I don't mind that as long as it's not messy, and I don't find it to be messy. So I'm very happy to have this in my collection. I really, really love that I was able to discover this through the sample and then find an affordable mascara to add to my collection. And then the next sample is the Rare Beauty Perfect Strokes mascara. This one's just okay for me, dog. It does have like a slight hourglass shape to the wand. I do find that this one flakes a little bit on me, and it is a drier formula, so it's not one that I would repurchase, but it is one that I'm currently rotating through until, you know, it no longer performs well. But it's just okay. I didn't find that I was able to sort of follow through all the way with the brush on my lashes, so that wasn't very lengthening for me. It definitely gives volume if you're into that. Alrighty, next is the Milani Matte Fetish lipstick in the shade Secret. These are really nice matte lipsticks. They're very smooth and they look nice on the lips. This is a pretty darn close dupe for Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk, I will say that. I do like this formula. It's creamy, but it is matte, and it's very thin, not at all unlike the Charlotte Tilbury Matte Revolution formula. So I do really enjoy this lipstick. You know, I do have other shades like it in my collection, but it is a great drugstore affordable lip option, especially if you're looking for a dupe for Pillow Talk. Next, I have a piece of PR. I received this for free from Influencer and the brand in exchange for my honest opinion, and this is the Shiseido SynchroSkin Self-Refreshing Tint. It does have an SPF of 20, and I have the shade 215. I love this. Like, I really enjoy this. I enjoy it more than I thought I would too. When my oily skin hears skin tint, it sort of cringes at the amount of oil that we probably can expect, but this one was not the case. It really did last on my skin quite well throughout the day, and it was no more oily on my skin than any of my foundations are by the end of 8 to 10 hours. So I really love this. I do recommend you apply it with your fingers if you do end up picking this up, because as you sort of rub it into the skin, or if you rub it between your fingers, it's a lot like MAC Face and Body. It thickens and the texture almost like completely changes, and it becomes, it gives more coverage basically. So if you do end up picking this one up, try it with your fingers. I'm not one that really applies with my fingers that much anymore. I tend to apply with a brush and then pat it in with a sponge, but this one I definitely recommend using your fingers. Alright, Shiseido SynchroSkin Self-Refreshing Concealer. I have the shade 201, which is a light shade. I really like this. However, it did not blow my mind as much as I thought it would, which is unfortunate because it's very expensive and you don't get a ton of product in here. I think it's pricey for what it is. It is a really nice concealer, but it didn't blow my mind or anything like that. So yeah, I like it. I will use it. It's just not one that like knocked my socks off in any kind of way. Next is a lip liner. You guys might remember that I absolutely adore the Milani Understatement lip liner formula. I love the shade Nude Entrance, and so I've picked up a couple of other shades over the last few months, and one of those shades is this one right here in the shade French Rose. This is super de-duper similar to, say it with me, the thing we all compare all lip products to, Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk. This is very similar to the Pillow Talk shade. It does pair beautifully with the shade Secret that I swatched for you earlier, so you can see there, I mean, those are just absolutely so similar. In fact, let me grab Pillow Talk. So I just have this mini of the Pillow Talk lipstick, but let me show you here. So here you go. Pillow Talk, lip liner in French Rose, Secret from Milani. They couldn't be much closer than they are. It's just a really great lip liner. It's retractable, which I really enjoy, although I don't mind a wooden pencil either. I think wooden pencils are typically a little bit longer lasting on the lips, but this one is creamy enough to line your lips easily, but not so creamy that you're gonna make a mess or that it's gonna move around on you or anything like that. So I definitely recommend those. I would have all the shades if I could. And one more drugstore gem before we get into the last little bit of PR that I received in February, and that is the Milani Color Statement lipstick in the shade Teddy Bear. This was an Emily Noel recommendation, and man, she gets me every time. I love her recommendations, especially for drugstore products. This is such a beautiful, what would I call this? Like a terracotta dusty rose. I mean, if it's Emily Noel, it's gotta have dusty rose in there somewhere, right? It has a slight scent, almost fruity, but very little scent. But this is a beautiful formula. It is a cream lipstick formula. It's not matte or anything like that. I love that the bottom of the lipstick shows the color with the shade, so if you store your lipsticks like this, you can immediately see what you're getting into. And just in general, it's a beautiful shade. It's definitely a shade that I would wear more so in like the summer to fall time, but I love the formula, I love the shade, and once again, Emily Noel for the win. And lastly, I have a few products from Merit Beauty which were sent to me to celebrate and launch their new lipstick line. I did get 2 of the lipsticks, but I also was able to pick up handful of other products, which was great. If you don't know, I did work with Merit Beauty last year in 2021, and it was amazing. I love the brand. I love what the brand stands for, and I will link their website down below in case you're just curious about the brand. And of course, all of these products will be linked as well. So this time around, I got to try their Minimalist complexion stick in a shade that actually matches my skin tone. This is the shade Silk. When I worked with them previously, I wasn't able to get my correct shade, so I picked a darker shade and was able to use it as a cream bronzer. So this is the shade Silk. Here's the thing about this. A beautiful product. First of all, they call it a complexion stick because you can wear it anywhere on the face. You can wear it on your under eyes. It does absolutely work for that. You can wear it on your face. I suppose you could wear it on your neck or your knuckles or whatever. For me and my oily skin, this is a no-go on the face. But I love this as a concealer or like a spot, you know, kind of concealer, almost like a foundation, but just small areas that I want to correct on more of like a no makeup day. This is just too creamy and emollient to stay intact on my oily skin, but the product itself is really, really nice. Next, I was very excited to get the second color that they have in their highlighting balm. So the first shade that I got was called Cava, which is more of their champagne shade. This is the shade called Bounce, and it is described as a rose gold. And oh my goodness, it is so pretty. I love this so much. It is really, really beautiful. I do tend to like to set this product, and I'll usually put it on after my blush, which is not typically the order that I do things. I typically do bronzer, highlight, blush. But with this one, because it's so creamy and not wanting to, you know, lift up products underneath or affect products that are put on top, I just tend to put this on the top layer. But man, oh man, is it pretty. I really recommend these. I think they're fantastic in terms of a cream highlighter, but they're very dewy, not sticky or anything like that, not greasy, but dewy and stunning. Another product that I got to try a different shade of is their cheek color balm. Flush balm, I think is what it's called. This is the shade Cheeky. I previously had the shade Mood, which was like more of a plum shade. This is just a beautiful, vibrant pink, kind of similar to what I have today. Here. Ta-da! This is so super easy to apply. I think most of their products can absolutely be applied with the fingers, including the complexion stick, the highlighter stick, this balm thingy. I just think that's part of the appeal of the, you know, the line and the products in the line, is that they're not only minimal, but they're easy to apply for anybody, you know. I'm very blushy now, but I love it. Love, love, love. This is a beautiful shade, as is the shade Mood that I tried before. And I like that it's sheer. I mean, you know, it kind of gives that believable flush to the skin because you can see freckles or, you know, hyperpigmentation or whatever underneath. So that's one thing I really enjoy about the Flush Balm. Before I get into the lipsticks, I did get another shade in their Shade Slick lip oil, tinted lip oil line. I had tried the shade Bel Air previously. In fact, I worked with them last year when they launched some new shades of this product, but Bel Air is basically, for all intents and purposes, clear. So ever since then, I've been wanting to pick up the shade Sangria. This is such a beautiful shade of lip oil. It's a little bit darker than what I would typically go for in a lip oil, but it's partially what I wanted it. It's kind of a plummy shade, and it gives a little bit of a stain to the lips, which I also really appreciate, because then I'm not just like reapplying and reapplying and reapplying because it's wearing off. There is a little bit of a stain that's left behind, and it's just a really nice formula overall. It's as good as any other lip oil I've tried in the past, and I just really enjoy it. And lastly, we have the new lipsticks from Merit. These are the Signature Lip Lightweight Lipsticks. These are fantastic. First of all, the packaging. You just can't argue with this. I love that. It's just really unique. And instead of the shades being on this bottom part, they're actually on the top part, which I find actually easier. So the first shade is L'Avenue, which is Avenue in French. And it looks kind of scary, but it's really not. And it's definitely, you know, a me kind of shade. It's kind of like a plum meets terracotta shade. And the thing I love about this formula is that it feels like a balm with the pigment of a lipstick. And, you know, this is just one swipe so you can see the actual color. But the one that I absolutely fell in love with and recently featured in a video of my top 10 high-end products of all time, I'll link it for you, is this shade right here, which is called Baby. And it's just a neutral pink, straight out of my dreams. It goes with nearly everything, and I just can't get enough of this thing. I just want to wear it all the time because it's so comfortable and so beautiful. And it's one of those shades that is really flexible. If you like to apply lip liner as well, it can kind of, you know, just make all the difference in the world depending on which lip liner you might pair it with. And man, oh man, do I love those lipsticks. I would definitely pick up more shades on my own dime in the future. And that, my friends, is everything from the month of February. I think March is going to be out of bounds in terms of how much makeup came into my collection. So let me know down below if you would rather see it in 2 parts or just one longer video. Obviously today's video was a little bit of a longer video, so I thank you if you did stick it out all the way. If you did enjoy today's video, I hope you'll consider subscribing and giving this video a thumbs up if you haven't done that already. And I hope all of your makeup days are absolutely beautiful makeup days, and I'll see you in my next video soon.